Oh, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I'm actually home now, so I can have a little look, see what we've got here. I have had a little look. I mean, I had a look yesterday, and I've had another little look just now. I'm gonna have a look again now, like, on video, just to sort of like run through my thoughts. But I want to preface and say that like for well, not like first time, but first, second, third time or whatever that you've done it, it's like it does look good. It looks good. It looks good. It's a really nice start. It's a nice start. Which is good to see. Um, I'm just gonna jump straight away into the squats. I'm just gonna watch for the time being. It looks like the bar position's good. It looks like it's on your rear delts, I believe. Um, I mean, it looks like you're getting that pretty comfortably, like very easily. To be fair, how much is on there? Is it how much is on there? 40? Is that 2 5s you got there, or I actually can't tell? Oh no, wait, no, is that 50 you got there? I mean, that's moving pretty easily, to be fair. Okay, so that looks alright. I'm gonna go through the positive things first, because the bar position looks pretty good. Um, and it's moving very easily. It's moving very, very easily. Your bar path generally looks pretty alright. From what I can see here, it does look like it's just going straight up and straight down, which is good, keeping the weight over the midfoot, so you're not coming forwards on your toes or back on your heels or anything too much. That looks all good. Um, I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in between each rep, it looks like you're taking in air. Are you like taking in like a lot, really filling up like I mean, it's still your lungs, but like focus on it coming into your stomach instead, and then tensing that, and then doing that and keeping that held for the entire rep. So your big deep breath into your stomach, hold it down, up, and then release. It looks like you're doing that, or it looks. I believe so. Like at the bottom, like at the top here, mouth open. I assume that's you taking a breath, and then yeah. So that looks good. Um, and it's genuinely a good start. Depth doesn't look bad for the first time. I mean, depth is like a little bit shallow, but we can. I expected that. I don't think anyone like is ever going to hit like full depth on their first time squatting, because it is a little bit of mobility stuff. But you don't have to do lots and lots of stretches and stuff to get in there. You can do some stretches if you want, and if you were to do stretches, if you just look up or find any ankle mobility stretches and hip mobility stretches, that's perfect. That's all you need. Um, but they're not completely necessary. Um, I did them for a little bit. I don't do them anymore. Just squatting alone and especially getting in that bottom position is the main thing. So that's the first thing that I'm going to talk about is um really getting used to the bottom position, and I would actually slow down the descent a little bit, and especially come down to like a nice sort of slow down like at the bottom. Maybe even just like pause it for like half a second, sort of as low as you can. So that's one thing. The next thing is don't be afraid to hinge at your hips a little bit more and just lean forwards a little bit more. The nice thing about low bar is because low bar is the bar sitting on your rear delts. High bar is a bit higher up, the bar sitting on your traps. The nice thing about low bar is um it's a nicer moment arm around like your hips. So like it's a shorter moment arm. Um like leverages and all that physics. Which just generally puts less pressure on your back, so it allows you to. Okay, my phone's just. Okay, there we go. It just allows you to really go into that forward lean a little bit more. Um, engage a little bit more glutes, like a little bit more of the muscles around the hips, because the muscles around your hips are like your glutes and adductors are stronger than your quads. It's kind of why, um, pretty much everyone, I'd say about like 98% of people can probably lift more weight doing low bar squats than they can high bar. Um, and it's also a little bit more lenient on your ankle mobility as well, because it allows you to hinge a little bit more. So I don't know if you're able to slow it down a little bit more on the descent. Still go fast and explosive, and what have you on coming back up again. But just slow down a little bit more, and yeah, if you could just practice a little bit, potentially just a little bit more hinge. So I will show mine. Granted, this is no, I think it's fine, but start sort of a same uprightish position as you, and you'll see as I come down. That wasn't a good example. There we go. Like, there's just a little bit more forward lean, a little bit more hinge. I have the advantage though of the fact that I have raised heel shoes and probably just from being used to it, a little bit better ankle mobility, so my knees can travel forwards a little bit more. Just a little bit more hinge, just a tiny bit. I'd say would be probably be fine. You're staying like very upright, which would be nice for high bar squat, and like it's not bad per se, but just for helping just reach a little bit more depth, so that's fine. Um, and then just a couple more like nitpicky bits. Is it looks like there's a mirror in front of you. Is it possible for you to squat facing away from the mirror instead? And just sort of like feeling that you're getting down nice and low and slow, and you are um like remaining your weight over like your midfoot, just like feeling for it, and also with your head position, rather than looking like at yourself in the mirror, look down on the ground a little bit, like 5 meters in front of you, 5-10 meters in front, if that's possible. Just puts your head in a little bit of a nicer position. Obviously, here, like you're leaning forwards like a little bit, but your head's still staying neutral. So I think it just puts your spine in a bit of a nicer position, and I think it helps with balance a little bit. Not that it looks like you're losing balance. Also, another thing with balance, and this is completely up to you. Like it's once again like a nitpicky thing. I personally don't like lifting in shoes with like soft foam, like squishy soles, just like trainers and stuff like that. Um, I've always squatted in like Converse and stuff like that, and then I squatted barefoot for a while. So I don't know if you have any Vans or Converse with like flat soles. If not, if you want to, you can squat barefoot. Well, when I say barefoot, like barefoot, keep your socks on. I imagine people don't really want your dogs out on the gym floor, but you could do that, and it's just like it's just a little bit more of a stable base for you. Um, but if you don't have those shoes and you don't want to squat in just socks, then it's really not a big deal to keep doing what you're doing. Overall, though, not too bad. So I'm just gonna try and summarize the points if I remember correctly. A little bit more hinge. I believe you're bracing. Just want to double check on that though. If you could just answer back on if you remember if you were actively doing that. So a little bit more hinge just to achieve a little bit more depth. Just slow down the descent a little bit and maybe just pause a tiny bit at the bottom. We're not going to do that long term. I'm just doing this at the moment to reinforce the good positions at the bottom and you getting used to being there, because then you'll be able to do it quickly. You'll be able to go deep quickly, very easily. Um, uh, Head position if possible. If you have to face the mirror, that's kind of fine. But just if you can, really try and focus on like looking down a bit and focusing on something that's like not you, if you possibly can. Um, Shoes. Yep. I think that's about everything really. So I hope that makes sense on the squats. Look at the bench. Your bench looks really good. Your bench looks really good. Your arm path looks good, like you're keeping your elbows like nice and tucked. Um, I believe it looks like your chest is like nice and proud. I believe you've got arch there. I don't know. It's like the plates are blocking it a little bit, but when you're pressing up, when you get to the top, are your shoulders being kept back? It looks like your shoulders are still back, but I'm not 100% sure. But shoulders back. Um, just for keeping your shoulders nice and chill and nice and healthy. Really. If you're doing that already, that's chill. That's fine. Bracing's also a thing in bench, so just in between each rep, do that. It's not quite as important. So for the time being, if you just want to focus on like what your upper body's doing, that's fine. But when you feel confident with your upper body as well, I would bring your feet a tiny bit like further towards your head, further up the bench, and just drive a little bit more pressure sort of into the ground, and like almost like you're trying to push yourself, slide yourself off the bench, if that makes sense. Um, just a little bit more. It does look like it's not too bad though, to be fair. And then the main thing which I noticed, so I said that your arm path was good, as in like your more of your upper arm is very, very nice. But if you look here already, and you draw a line from where the bar is to where your elbow is, the bar is actually a few inches offset towards like the top of the bench or your head direction from your elbow. So what that's actually doing is it's activating a little bit more tricep than you want. There's an exercise called a JM press where you purposely do this, where you bench keep your elbows really, really tucked to like the side of you. Your elbows are perfect. Don't change that at all. But like keep your elbows really tucked to the side, and you bring the bar down to like your collarbone. And as such, you have to like bend a lot at your elbows, and your arms come back like a lot. I don't. I'll see if I can get an example. Real quick. So a JM press would look like this sort of thing. I mean, he's done it to his chin. I've always done it to sort of like the top of my collarbone, but it's the same sort of thing. You see that your arms like really bend back. It's tons more tricep. You will literally just be able to lift more weight, and that's the wrong thing. If you focused on bringing the weight rather to at the moment it's the top of your chest. I'd bring the weight literally just a couple of inches like further down your body. Oh, you almost had it there. You almost had it there. So on this rep, the next one, I think it's the next one. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then you just bring it back a little bit further, to the top of your chest. So just focusing on continuing bringing it down on the same bar path. Your wrist, I think look pretty fine. I believe you're doing the sort of like internally rotated bulldog grip that I showed you. If not, I'm just going to show you that here now, just in case. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it's just hands are straight. You internally rotate them a little bit, and then you grab the bar. Like that instead, and it allows your hands to. It basically just sits nicer on top of your wrists. If you just go straight across your hands, then it will be a little bit higher up on your hands, and will often result in your hands being bent back a little bit. I think your hands look fine. Keep on going my photos instead, but generally it's pretty good to be fair. So on the squats, I've given you advice there. Let me know if you're breathing and bracing here. On here, let me know if you're breathing and bracing as well, but it's like it's not quite as important for the time being. Um, Shoulders back, let me know if you're doing that. It looks like you are, but it's just a little bit hard to sort of tell. Um, and the main thing which I can see is that arm path. You are almost correct on like a couple of your reps, and then it gets to the bottom, and you almost like try to overcorrect yourself by bringing the bar further up your chest. Allow it to touch like just like I let it touch just below my nipple. See like that highest point where your chest is, where like your chest is nice and proud. Like literally just a couple of inches further down. Like try and go there if you can. And other than that, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The other thing as well is at this top position, I have just noticed this. Unless it's just the camera angle, it looks like you're holding the weight rather than like directly above, like your arms are completely straight. It's a little, they're sort of slanted a little bit more, so it's a little bit further down by like your feet. If that makes sense. I'm just trying to. I wish I could draw a line. Can I draw? But um, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. It's just if I was to draw a line from where your hands are to where your shoulders are, it's a tiny bit diagonal with them coming down a little bit. Try to keep it at the top directly above you, and then as you bring it down, the bar path won't be completely straight down like squats. It will um it will curve a little bit down again, but let me see if I can show you this, because I'm explaining this really badly, and I wish I had like a paint tool or something to show you. Bench bar path. Is there any good? Okay, yeah, these are generally not too bad, but you see in all of these pictures, all of them start where the bar is actually slightly further towards their head. That's because their arm's straight, it's directly above their shoulders, and as they come down, they place it a little bit lower down on their chest, and therefore it just sort of arcs down a little bit like that. Your arc is almost kind of it looks like either almost straight down or almost like the opposite way, where you start a little bit in front of you and you come down that way, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it, really. Is that's the main thing, is your bar path and making sure that your wrists um stay stacked on top of your elbows, like completely vertical at the bottom, and at the top the weight stays completely stacked on top of your shoulders. But that's the main stuff, and then the foot positioning and bracing I obviously talked about. But this is 15 minutes already. I'm not going to waffle anymore. Hopefully, any following, I'll try and get better at waffling less and less. But anyway, yeah. Thank you, Ben.